Shalom. I've been asked to do, by YouTube video viewers, to do a response to some of the material about Jews for Jesus and Messianic Jews on YouTube. So I want to explain why Jews do not accept Jesus, and any Jew who says they do is not Jewish anymore. Now, this is not in any way to denigrate Christianity. Christians, according to Judaism, are certainly to live as Christians as long as they follow the 7 laws of the sons of Noah. This is not an indictment of Christianity. This is purely meant for people who want to commit religious treason, in our view, and defect to another religion, abandoning God and the Torah. That's our view, and want to explain why. Now, for background of this, I have several other videos that I think would be worthwhile. First is, and they're all, you can find them all if you go JewU, J-E-W-U, just the letter U, by number. 27 is What Jews Believe, the basic principles according to Maimonides. JewU 30 is the Jewish view of Messianism and the Messiah. JewU 35 is Jews and Jesus. JewU 57 is the whole question of resurrection. JewU 155 is What Non-Jews Can Do to Achieve Salvation, the Laws of Noah. JewU 129 is on reincarnation, and 182 is on some of the similarities and differences between Judaism and Christianity. So let's just go to the very basics. Christians believe that Jesus is the Messiah. There is no evidence for that. The world still stinks. There's nowhere that it says the Messiah is going to come twice. How could anybody possibly believe the Messiah has already been here? Now, they believe he's coming back. Where does it say that? Anything about coming back? We've had plenty of false messiahs, including what we believe is Jesus, who've claimed to be the Messiah and then disappointed us. If someday in the future he comes, okay. But we have Lubavitcher Rabbi, who his adherents think he's the Messiah. My relatives, the Bratslaver Hasidim, think their rabbi is the Messiah. The followers of Jacob Frank of Shabtai thought their guy was the Messiah. A lot of false messiahs. So that's why we're very skeptical, and we certainly don't believe Jesus was the Messiah. Christians also believe that in the Trinity, that there's 3 parts to God. Well, we just don't believe that. God is one. It says so clearly in Deuteronomy, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Many other sources for that. Any notion that there's God and a human being is just absurd from a Jewish point of view. 3, the essence of Christianity is they believe that God took the human form. It says clearly in Numbers 23, if anybody claims to is a human, any man claims to be God, clearly he isn't. I mean, it's from a Jewish point of view, which is pure monotheism, to believe that God took human form is simply absurd. Now, then Christianity believes you can only come to God through Jesus. That violates for us the basic principle that you shall have no other gods before me. There's only one God, and you go directly to that God. You don't have anybody, you don't go through anybody to get to God. And then, of course, they believe that Mary was a virgin and gave birth to Jesus and a virgin. Well, and Joseph wasn't the biological father. So that presents several issues. First of all, it's an old pagan myth, way before Christianity, about virgin birth. And so I think people should understand that. And secondly, it completely contradicts the whole notion that Jesus could be the Messiah. The Messiah has to come from the house of David. If you open up the New Testament and read it, which one comes from David? It's Joseph. So you can't logically maintain both the Messianic lineage from King David and the virgin birth. It completely contradicts each other. And then the Jews for Jesus like to point to the verses in Matthew, the Gospel, to pretend that they prove Jesus. Well, first of all, just think about it logically. If God really wanted us to know that Jesus was God and Messiah, don't you think it would have been very clear? You had thousands and thousands and thousands of words. You could have just said any one sentence. There's a guy named Jesus going to come. He'll be the Messiah or God. It doesn't say that anywhere. They got to twist and turn everything up on its head to make you think maybe this verse might. And then it's based on mistranslations. Their Bible is translating from the Greek, which translates from the Hebrew. When the Greek translation, the Septuagint, translated from the Hebrew, they mistranslated a lot of key things. For example, that passage that Matthew quotes about a virgin, the Hebrew doesn't say virgin. The Hebrew says alma, which is not a virgin. An alma is a young woman who could have kids or not kids, be married. The word for virgin is betulah. It doesn't say that there. So the whole thing about virgin birth is based on a mistranslation of a verse from Isaiah. And that's just one of many, many, many mistranslations of the text. Now, besides that, Deuteronomy 13 clearly warns against exactly this happening. That somebody comes and says, oh, there's this guy who says violate the Torah. He's going to do all kinds of dreams and tricks, which is exactly what the New Testament says Jesus did. We're warned about it in Deuteronomy 13. It's exactly what happened. Now, Numbers 12, read that. Read Numbers 12. God says to Miriam and Aaron, Moses alone I speak to mouth, word for word, everyone else in dreams and visions, everybody else. So Moses is the only guy ever God spoke to word for word, and the Torah says don't violate, don't leave this, don't. No, Jesus lived a kosher life. He lived our prayers. Okay, but to say that a man will be God, or think about this. Christians believe that God sent his son to be sacrificed. Well, read Genesis 22. God says don't do it, and the Bible warns against it time after time after time. So why then, after the Bible warns so much against sacrificing your son and killing your kids, would the whole religion of Christianity be based on killing your son? It doesn't make any sense to us, just as not meaningful in any way. So those are some of the issues there. Wanted to mention, I think there's a lot more that we have to talk about. I'll do that in a subsequent video. This, I think, is enough for one video to digest. In my next one, I'll address a typical or possible conversation you might have with a Jew for Jesus proselytizer and how you can respond.